have to start by reading out this statement. I'm obliged to inform you that this meeting is being videoed. Members of the public are entitled to record the proceedings and are requested to give prior notice so that any additional measures that may assist can be put into place. Any member of the public who has any concern should raise them now. Right, so we've done that. So we move now to the agenda. Item 1 is apologies for absence, and I'm aware that Rob Macy has given apologies and Willa Butler. Disclosable pecuniary interests. Nobody seems to be indicating anything. Item 3 are the minutes of the last meeting held on the 4th of September. They're included in the pack. I've read them, they look pretty good to me, but everybody seems happy, so I'll move them. Can I have a second? And a seconded, so can I just see everybody agree on the minutes? Right, thank you very much. Item 4, public question time. Now we do have some questions. I think the first question is submitted by Mark Fermor. Oh, you can come to this one here. Yeah. Sorry, that's me, press.
I can just speak up for it.
Press the one in the middle, and if you get a red light. Yeah, oh, well, I can see the red bit. Yeah, you're all systems go.
Yes, thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity. My question it's excellent that you confirmed in your 4th September calendar meeting we're on track to consider and adopt a climate change strategy and action plan by the 31st of December. Please confirm this will include adopting a target date for net zero carbon Shropshire, as well as a target date for net zero Shropshire Council operations. There's a second part. Shall I go through that or wait for the response to the first part?
Do it all in one go.
Okay. Given the central role of transport in strategies for achieving sustainable development in net zero Shropshire, please confirm what passenger car projection you use in reviewing transport plans, such as the proposal for a Northwest Road. In the event that you have not decided what projection to rely on, please confirm that you anticipate it will be broadly in line with the excellent work done by the Centre for Alternative Technology Zero Carbon Britain, which has a 40% reduction in average car miles per resident from 6,100 to 3,600 miles per annum. And separately, given that the Council has decided to plant a tree for every resident and that in the current climate emergency it's vital reaching net zero as soon as possible, can the Council develop and implement plans to set up a tree planting team and initiatives with residents, landowners and on your own estate to achieve this within 2 years? Thank you.
Right, Councillor Dean Carroll will respond.
Thank you, Mark, again. I can confirm that we currently remain on track for adopting our climate action plan at full council in December. At the time of declaration, we did not set an absolute date, preferring to first analyse the current baseline and policy options in order to set an ambitious but realistic objective grounded in the data. We have always been clear that we want to continue to progress various key actions in ways and at times that allow for individual innovation and wider policy coherence. In many areas of related activity, Shropshire is already performing very well. The reference above includes wider reference to transport, movement and development strategies going forward. Our approach is based on the principles of sustainability and balancing social, economic and environmental issues and impacts. We are progressing the initiative to plant trees both on council-owned land and on private land.
Okay. Right, and that will be provided the written response.
Yes, thank you very much. Just sitting there anticipating might be a question for John Ogle next, which I...
Well, hang on, there's another person first. The next question is from Elizabeth Knowles, and if you'd like to come forward.
council declared a climate
If you're
emergency.
speaking to the mic,
Oh,
we'll
sorry.
hear you better. That's
Can you hear
better,
me?
yeah.
I'm here. Pardon?
Just bend the mic down a bit towards you.
Okay.
That's it.
The council declared a climate emergency in May 2019 and stated that a climate action partnership would be established in the county as a mechanism for assisting the county to work towards carbon neutrality. Is the climate action partnership now active? And if so, who are the partners involved? And what progress has it facilitated towards establishing a carbon neutral structure?
Again, I'll ask Councillor Dean Carroll to respond.
Thank you. We have brought together a task force of key officers who are leading various streams of activity in this area of work and appointed a senior manager in Adrian Cooper to lead this work. We are currently engaging with key partners such as University Centre Shrewsbury, the Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty, and Shropshire and Telford Wrekin CCGs, and other key public sector partners on a range of related initiatives. The full partnership will be confirmed upon adoption of the full plan.
Thank you. And then the third question was from John Ogle, and I think Mark Fermor is going to do the talking because John can't be here.
Apologies on his behalf. Thank you very much. So, in the light of the declared climate emergency, is it or when will it become council policy that all new domestic and non-domestic building developments and refurbishments can be assumed to be fossil fuel free? Background note to that, assuming the grid is on the path to being zero carbon, then the only route to zero carbon buildings and infrastructure is to move away from any gas or oil-fired systems. Alternative systems are available. Question 2, are the council aware of the opportunity in investment offered by renewable energy, as for example the £60 million investment by Warrington NBC into PV farms, the opportunity may be linked to the council establishing a fully licensed pipe company?
Thank you. Dean?
Thank you. Standards that control thermal and energy performance of new construction is governed by building regulations which are set nationally by government. The government have recently launched a public consultation on new energy regulations to improve the energy efficiency of new homes by 2020. The Future Home Standard aims to introduce specific measures from 2025. The Council is aware of the investment opportunity provided by renewable energy generation in the county and will explore opportunities to create or partner with an appropriate energy services company to deliver local renewable energy generation projects.
Right, so we move on. The next item on the agenda is item 5, member question time. I don't think we've got any. No. Right, so item 6, scrutiny items. Again, I don't think there's any scrutiny items. So we'll go to item 7, annual corporate customer feedback report 2018-19. Councillor Lee Chapman will present this.
Thank you, Leader. The annual customer feedback report provides us with an opportunity to collate all of the feedback, complaints and comments that we've had from residents across Shropshire through the previous year. And also I think it's important to understand that the process of both receiving complaints and compliments allows the council to reflect and consider how it alters its process and response on that path of continuous improvement. The context for the report must be considered in the light of the continued financial constraint the council finds itself in as a result of the pressures of its demographics and decisions made by central government in relation to the way that we're funded. We have seen a significant improvement in our responsiveness, particularly in relation to completing stage 1 of the complaints process, reduced down from an average of 20 days last year to 40 days this year. I would also draw the meeting's attention to the absolute number that are involved and the proportion of those that actually involve compliments. So as a percentage of all of the feedback that we've had, 20% of all of that is actually compliments of the council. And I always used to say from the days when I was at Atelier that if you had a good visitor, a at an establishment, you might tell one person, but if you had a bad experience, you probably told 10. And I think what that to me says is that there are significant numbers of people who will be very easily satisfied with the way that the council conducts itself, but those people don't necessarily provide us with feedback as a compliment. So that 20% of all feedback as a compliment is a very significant tribute to the work that our staff continue to do on a year-on-year basis. That being said, we have seen an increase in complaints, and I think it's fair to say that the mechanism for dealing with those complaints is still struggling to communicate as effectively as it could to those people making a complaint and to provide them with timely updates on that. So I draw attention on the actual report, so it's an appendix at the end of the item, to section 7, where we've reported on actions that were highlighted from last year and how we've performed against those. Furthermore, I would also draw attention to recommendations in the report, which we're going to be publishing on our website as part of the recommendations in the report, which include aspects of both the challenge with rollout of additional IT development and the challenges around multiple channels through which we receive complaints. So we'll know that we know that individuals who make complaints will do so over a number of different opportunities to report. And that in itself represents a challenge to us in terms of making sure that we understand the source of those different complaints and aligning them together. I do think that we need to continue to improve our adoption of the systems that we've invested in as part of transformation, and I would see an opportunity for those service areas that haven't fully adopted our complaint module to do that in the coming months, and to see the opportunity for more efficient handling of complaints by their service area. And I'd ask Cabinet to agree recommendations at 2.
Right. Any comments? I'm happy to second that. I think we do well in difficult circumstances, and I think that's what the report says. Nobody seems to want to comment, so we'll move to the recommendations, which are on page 9 and or the page on page 10. Everyone happy with that? Can I see all those in favour? Right, that's clearly passed. Thank you very much. Item 8, Quarter 1 2019-2020 Corporate Performance Report. Again, the Councillor Lee Chapman.
Thank you, Leader. This forms part of our quarterly performance in relation to those metrics presented as high-level outcomes on our website, and we explore in this report some of the details that emerge out of that and the opportunities for us to consider how we might improve based on those. There's a couple of aspects that I'd just like to draw out. I think that our performance in waste cycling is 2% above target, particularly encouraging, and we've seen a trend in the use of libraries and the visits, to see that we've seen now a doubling of the use of the Cloud Library ebook service, which I think is very encouraging. And from an economic development perspective, the growth at Theatre 7 with 32% of our patrons coming from out of county, I think from a tourism perspective, and that drive into our economy is to be especially well received, and certainly very encouraging continued performance by Theatre 7. I would also draw your attention to a slight reduction in the numbers of looked after children and some continued improvement on adult social care and our handling of, or continued reduction of the delayed transfers of care out of hospital, which, considering the pressure within the health and social care economy, is to be congratulated. You'll note in the report there are a number of references to emerging development of additional opportunities to draw data out of our systems and how we use that to inform performance. There are a number of areas here where that work is outstanding, and we continue to look at areas where we can find data that supports our outcomes that we're seeking to achieve as a council. But I would commend the report to you and the recommendations at. Thank you.
Again, more than happy to second this. Any comments? I think the one thing that I think is good about this report, and when we get these reports we tend to look at the theatre and how many people go through there, but it does also reinforce that we really do a lot of good work in children's services and adult social services, and because they're sort of slightly background services, we sometimes don't actually shout about how well we're doing in these areas under severe financial pressures, I would add. And I do give the director some pressure sometimes about money, but we do well, and we mustn't be frightened to actually say that, because we are a good performing council, and it isn't always just in how many people go to the theatre or how many houses we build. In the basic services, looking after people, we're very good, and this is reinforced in this report. Anybody got any comments? No? Everybody seems happy. Right, can I see all those in favour of the recommendations? Thank you very much. Item 9, annual report on health and safety performance for 2018-2019. This is Councillor David Millery.
Yes, thank you, Nick. As members will have seen, this is a very full and very detailed report, and so I'm not going to go through it in great detail. It's already there. What I will say is that it's a couple of things, really. First of all, it's pleasing to see that we are, in most areas at least, still performing well, that the health and safety awareness is spreading across the authority. I am concerned, and I'm sure everybody's concerned, about the increase in the number of violent incidents to our employees, a lot of them in schools, but not all of them. And it is a worrying trend, and I think we're not alone in that in Shropshire. I think it's a nationwide thing, but I'm pleased to see that we are putting measures in place, robust measures in place to provide suitable training to those of our officers who have to go on the front line and sometimes encounter these difficulties. Apart from that, I think it's self-explanatory. There's an appendix on page 17 of the report which gives various bits of data. The only thing I would point out from there, those who read both reports might have noticed there's a difference in the number of full-time employees in the two reports. I'm talking about the report we've just considered, the corporate performance one, where it's some 2,500, and in this one it's in excess of 5,000. The difference being that this one includes all employees, including those in schools, and the other one doesn't. It excludes the schools. So anybody spotted that and thinks we've got it wrong, we haven't, and that's the reason for it. So I won't say any more, Leader, except to move the two recommendations. The first one is A, that the contents of the report are accepted and noted, and B, that the key actions for 1920 are agreed, and they're set out there in some detail. Thank you.
Yeah, there are a series of detailed recommendations on page 51 and 52 of the report. I'm sure you've all read this report. I did go through it earlier, and everybody seemed to be quite switched on to it. Any comments? No? The avoidance of doubt, I'll second it. And I'll ask everyone in support to show, please. Right, that's clearly carried. Thank you very much. Item 10 is the exclusion of the press and public. I'm sorry, we're going to have to invite you to leave. We won't be long.